California is in the midst of a housing affordability crisis. The median price is over $800,000 for a single-family home. That's up more than 20% since last summer. Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation last week intended to help. That includes SB 9. Joining us on the floor to talk about it is Bigelow. She's CEO and co-founder of Maxable. Caitlin, so our viewers know where you're coming from on this. Can you tell us first, what is Maxable? What is it that you do, and why did you get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Maxable is a company that helps homeowners plan, hire, and manage their ADU projects. And part of why I felt so compelled to do this is my parents were actually journalists growing up, and we had a little tiny granny flat on my parents' property that they rented out to a student at SDSU, actually, when we were a young family. And so I grew up seeing the huge financial benefits that these bring to families, the stability they bring to families. And so when we've seen all these major legislative changes, I felt like I want to be able to give other families that same thing that we had. And so that was really the motivation for founding Maxable.
So SB 9 and SB 10 were both aimed at the housing crisis, but SB 9 is what we're talking about today because it has the most potential impact on single-family homeowners with what they can do with their property. So what does SB 9 mean? What does the signing of it mean moving forward?
Yeah, so it's a really exciting bill to see happen and pass. So, and I think it kind of illustrates the direness of the housing crisis that we're in right now. So essentially what SB 9 does is it says, okay, if you have a single family zoned property, which most of us, or a lot of us are living in single family zoned houses, it allows you to either build another unit, a duplex onto that property, or it allows you to bifurcate the lot, split the lot. You can either keep that main house exactly how it is and build a duplex on the lot next door, or you can actually do 2 duplexes. And so, and you would have a total of 4 complete units. So that's what the essence of the bill does.
And there are some regulations. They even talk about looking at unintended consequences retroactively. So it's not all clean just yet, but we know there's a process moving forward now. So if someone wants to build an ADU, they want to take advantage of this, what would you say to them are the most important things to know before they start planning?
Yeah, I think whether you're exploring something like the opportunities SB 9 allows, or you're looking to build an accessory dwelling unit on your property, it's really important to understand that there's a lot of complexity here. There's regulations to be managed. There's a lot of different teams and people you need to hire. And so my recommendation to people is really to do your research and your homework. Just because you hear a story of a friend doing something doesn't necessarily mean that that same thing works for your jurisdiction. So, understanding that all of these regulations, while passed at the state level, there are also local controls. So what you can do in Chula Vista is different than what you can do in City of San Diego, is different than what you can do in Carlsbad. And so that's part of what we try to help people with, is really navigating that initial steps of that planning process. I'd recommend taking a look at case studies. If you have neighbors that are building, kind of talking to them and really doing your homework, because at the end of the day, these are extremely rewarding for families. They can bring, like I said, a massive rental income benefits, housing family members. There's a lot of flexibility that these units provide, but they also, take a lot of planning and a lot of resources to put together.
Caitlin Bigelow with Maxable, talking about ADUs and SB 9, how it impacts that. Thank you so much for your time. We know it's a controversial issue. Other people are worried about impacts, but we'll get into that another time. I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you.